All right, so when I was in university, I had a friend, and his name was Fabio. And this was a friend that I didn't really meet until later on in my university journey. I feel like when I first started, to be quite honest, I was a little bit of a loner. And it wasn't until I almost graduated that I met some really cool people, and their names were Ben and Fabio, rather, the names are Ben and Fabio. And these are people that I went on a trip with to New York as part of a chorus field trip. And I remember during that time, I felt like I really bonded with them, and it was like the first time during university that I felt like I really had a close relationship with some people. And this is a very different experience than the one I had in high school, where I was very close to people, I had a lot of friends, and was just overall much more busy. Whereas in university, like I said, I was a little bit of a loner. But anyway, Fabio always used to tell me about something called perspective. And perspective is just sort of a mindset shift. It's sort of trying to frame yourself in the minds, or try and maybe compare yourself to other situations, and just realizing, maybe being gratitude or being grateful for the situation that you're currently in. And he always said, perspective. He was a pretty positive person, and every single time something happened, he would just look at me if we were together, and he would just say perspective. And I think what he was trying to say was that if something bad happens, or even if something good happens, it's oftentimes good to put it in the right frame of mind to sort of think about think about it, right? Even if it's good or bad. And this is the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to how I feel like I can be happy all the time. People often ask me, and you're so positive, you're so happy. How do you do it? It must take so much work. And honestly, yeah, it does. It's not something that you can just wake up having. It's a skill that I think you have to practice like anything else. And I know I've said it so many times now, but perspective is the first one. So I have a subnote here with a quote that says, "What's the alternative?" Okay, so one of the things I do is, if there's ever a moment where I feel like something bad happened, or if I feel like I don't want to do something, I ask myself, what's the alternative? Like, let's say you're someone that enjoys going to the gym, and let's say that one day you don't go to the gym, you ask yourself, well, what's the alternative? What will happen if I don't go to the gym? Okay, well, if I don't go to the gym, maybe I can go home and I can play video games, or get to my hobbies faster, or hang out with my family earlier. And it's okay if I take one day off, but I think statistically, and a lot of us know, that if we take that one day off, odds are we might take the second day off. And maybe you have very good discipline and you have it locked in, but I'm very much of the mindset that you want to make the barrier to entry as low as possible. Make things very easy for you, and set up the environment for yourself so that anything that you want to accomplish is sort of within reach. So that's one thing I try to do. In the example, what's the alternative if I don't go to the gym? Well, I'm not going to feel good. Maybe I'll get that short lived gratification, but in the long period, I'm not going to feel really good about myself, right? Or if I say, let me buy something, I ask myself, well, what's the alternative? Right? So I always think about different things, like if there's something hard in my life that I don't want to do, for an exchange, the exchange being some short term gratification, I ask myself, what will be the alternative? And that's the perspective I put myself into. A lot of times, doing the hard thing is the thing that will bring us happiness, because we all know there's something in our life that's sort of hanging over our shoulders, and it's the thing that we should be doing. It's the thing that we know that if we did, we'd be a lot happier, we'd be in a better place. For a lot of us, again, that's maybe going to the gym, maybe it's saving money, maybe it's going out and dating and meeting people, but we're just scared, so we decide to stay home. I feel like challenging myself and being in that mindset and that perspective that allows for me to see past that is one of the things that allows for me to be happy. So at this stage, if you're listening, what I want you to do from now on is, anytime you feel like there's something that you don't want to do, ask yourself, what would happen if I don't? What's the alternative? If I don't want to do XYZ, what's going to be the effect of that? And is that really a path you want to go down? And I think after many times, as you start getting more consistent with it, and if you continue to overcome that sort of hump, that sort of thought that gets in your head, you will become happier, because you know you're doing the right thing. So that's just the first thing here. The second thing here I have is self-affirmation. And I feel like this is something a lot of us hear throughout our lives, of like positive self-talk. But I think it's true. Wake up in the morning tomorrow and look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, I got this. If you're going to do a presentation, tell yourself, I'm going to kill this presentation. Of course I'm going to kill this presentation, because I studied for it. I did what I had to do. I put the hours in. I practiced in front of a mirror, and I'm going to do really well. Or let's say you're about to go on a date. You tell yourself, oh, this date's going to go amazing, because I know I have the confidence to do it. I know I can go on there and have a great time. It's going to be a great night. This is someone that I like. I enjoy my time spent with them. I want it to become something that can last for a long time. So why wouldn't it be great? Or even if it's something bad. For example, let's say you have to tell someone, you have to deliver some bad news. Or maybe you have to go into a meeting with a manager and you're afraid to get feedback. For example, people, this is something I could really relate to because, as you know, this channel is sort of about the workplace. But think about going into a manager's office for feedback, right? Instead of telling yourself, "Oh, it's going to be bad," right? Humans, we have the negativity bias. That's like a huge cognitive fallacy or logical bias. Actually, what is? Let's see what negativity bias falls under. Is negativity bias? Whoa, a fallacy? Negative fallacy. Negativity bias is a okay. Wow, it's a cognitive bias. Obviously, it's a bias. Cognitive bias. There's a video I want to make about some of these, but yeah. So it's a cognitive bias that results in adverse events having a more significant impact on our psychological state than positive events. I feel like as humans, we tend to look at things very negatively, but that doesn't necessarily have to be how we view life. So by doing these self affirmations, and you go inside of a manager's meeting and you tell yourself, "This is going to be bad. This is going to be good because I know that this feedback that I'm going to get is what's going to allow me to grow within my company and also within myself." You see, so I just spun up a situation that most people would see as bad, and I turned it into an opportunity to get better. Everything in my life is an opportunity. Okay. This is what self-affirmation means. And I didn't put this sub note, but I just thought about it, thank God. But I see everything in life as an opportunity. If I lost money on something, that's just an opportunity to know better for next time. I'm that much more knowledgeable. I'm that much wiser to prevent myself from that happening again, to prevent that event from happening again. If my manager tells me something bad that I could have done better on, well, now it's an opportunity to get better. It's an opportunity so that the next time it happens, I'll be better than it, right? If I get into an argument with my partner, well, it's an opportunity for me to learn about my own flaws and, the things that I do that maybe hurt my partner, right? It's an opportunity for all of us just to get better. So think of different things in your life as opportunities. Don't think of them as negative things. Okay? I'm trying to see if I can come up with another example of something that's happened recently in my life, but let's say I recently, to be completely honest, I had a bad argument with my dad a couple of weeks ago, you know? And it was a little bit bad for like a day, and I do think, I'm not suggesting that you just throw away all your feelings and completely disregard anything you're feeling, but after that one day I said, I think this is just an opportunity for me to get closer to my dad. And actually, because of that argument, we are closer now because it allowed for us just to talk at a deeper level and sort of talk some things out that maybe we were holding in for a long time. And I think because I always saw it through a positive light, it just helped me get through it better, and again, make it that opportunity that I knew that was going to help me grow. And something I just said now, seeing it through a positive light, that's also very, very important too. Just see things positive. And again, to self affirmations, just be confident about it. If you feel like something's going to happen, just really and truly believe it. I'm going on a Disney cruise line in a couple weeks, and I accidentally forgot to call the cruise line to make some changes to my room. And on their website or somewhere, it says that after a certain date, you can't. And I don't let that stop me. I call them anyway, and I tell them, "Hey, I'm having this problem. Is there anything that you can do to help me? This is the layout that I have for the rooms of my family." And if you treat them nice and you believe that you can get where you're gonna get, you have those self affirmations, you will get the desired outcome. And I think with all that, with everything I just said, that comprises point two, these self affirmations. High self esteem, high confidence. Talk to yourself. Tell yourself you're gonna do great, and do great things, and you will feel better about yourself. Okay, the third one I have here is setting clear and precise goals and celebrating the small wins. I've talked about this in videos before, but I think it deserves another mention here. And this is really just about celebrating the small milestones you have throughout your life. Remember, every single day that we're alive is a celebration in and of itself. It's another day, a day that we're alive. It's another day that we get to see the world. And I think that every single day that we're here, it's an opportunity for us just to make our life better than it was yesterday. So set these very clear and small goals, okay? Like two examples I have here is maybe I want to lose X pounds by a certain date, or I want to save this much money by a certain date. Right now I have two major goals in my life. One of them is just to get leaner. I've been trying to lose a couple of pounds, obviously for the Disney cruise coming up and just for any other moments. And it might sound like a vain goal, but it's something I've wanted to do my entire life. And I've been tracking my calories as best as I can. And I set myself about, a goal of 1 pound a week. And that gives me something very clear to look forward to. And anytime that we do something, like I hinted at in the step one in the perspective, when we do something that we know is right and is hard, we're going to feel better because we know we're doing the right thing. So when I see the scale go down, I feel good because I'm doing the thing that I know that I'm supposed to do. And I'm saving money because I want to move into a new house in like 2 or 3 years. So I give myself small goals. Okay, by August, I need to save $10,000. By the end of the year, I need to save $20,000, so on and so forth. And every single day I can look at like my stock. If you're into investing, you can look at your portfolio. If you're checking, your checking accounts or your credit cards, I can make sure that my debts are low or I'm not spending where I need to. Just kind of trying to stay on top of something and giving myself little goals that can just help me get better and better. It's very easy. Like I can say I want to do these workouts this week and get better at them and just track it. So give yourself a goal of something that you're passionate about. Maybe that thing is going on a walk more often, or maybe it's reading X amount of books. Maybe you say, I want to read one book every single month. Or maybe I want to take my partner out on a date every single Wednesday this month just because, just to spice things up a little bit. So giving yourself these small goals and celebrating the small wins, and say at the end of the week, if you did the thing, even if it's very easy, you celebrate it, right? Maybe you spend some more time playing a video game. Right? And I say video game because I love video games. So you spend more time doing your hobby. You spend more time doing something that you really enjoy. Maybe you go out to one of your favorite restaurants. You have fun and you enjoy the moment. Just live in the moment. Live in the now. Okay, don't think about the past. Don't think about the future. Just think about the now. Enjoy it for what it is. And again, you will just be happier in the long term. Okay. This fourth one here is very important. It's one that I struggle with a lot and have struggled with for a very long time. And only recently do I feel like I've gotten better at it, and it's not comparing yourself to others, okay? Just yesterday, one of my best friends sent a video of someone that I used to work with making these Instagram videos about real estate, and it seemed like they were doing well for themselves. And I kind of got a little jealous. I felt like, I'm kind of the same age as this person. They're doing so much better than me. I should be in the same place as they are. And I kind of caught myself in that. And I thought, this is just not the way that I should be thinking. They're in an entirely different life path than me, and I have no idea of the struggles that they go through. The struggles they go through might be worse than mine, or they might not, but it's okay because it's their life. Instead of focusing all this energy on what other people are doing, I'd rather focus the energy and think about what I'm doing. And if you're watching the video and if you feel the same way, start focusing more on yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're all that you have, right? And the decisions that you make directly influence the way that your life and the outcomes that you have. So don't compare yourself to others. Easier said than done. But I promise you, if you do that, like I've said in the last 3 points, you will be happier in the long term, okay? Just focus on getting better every single day and doing the things that you enjoy doing. My whole channel is about staying in your 9 to 5, right? Something that a lot of people will think is crazy. Everyone wants to escape the matrix. They want to start a business. They want to work for themselves. And I think that if the people really want to do that, then they should do it. But there's a lot of us that also just want 9 to 5 jobs, and you shouldn't feel like there's anything wrong with that. 9 to 5 jobs have a lot of benefits that other types of jobs or maybe self-employed don't offer. So it's okay if you enjoy waking up and going to a stable job and then going home and not have to worry about anything. That's perfectly fine. And I just want you, if you're watching this, just to focus on the things that bring you happiness and do those things to the fullest extent. Get really good at them. Just really become a master in that area and just really surround yourself with these things that make you happy because you'll just have overall joy. My dad told me the other day that one of my cousins told him, I see so many people driving these fancy cars, living in these fancy homes, but at what cost? How often do they have to work? Are they really enjoying their lives, or are they just trying to get likes on Instagram, on social media, notoriety? Are they really being true to themselves? And I just think that, if you're living for someone else and not yourself, you're just not living life the right way. So focus on yourself and don't compare yourself to others. And then finally, one here that's so important, but I feel like it's one that we forget to do, is having hobbies. By now, if you've seen some of my other videos, you know that I really love video games. I'm currently playing a video game called Expedition 33, which has been phenomenal. Probably one of my favorite games of all time, definitely like top 5, and I have a lot of fun doing that. I also have a lot of fun making these YouTube videos. Okay, there's a lot of people in my field in computer science and engineering that they go home and do engineering. They continue to do more programming, and I think a lot of them do it because they feel like they need to. And again, it just depends on what it is that you want in life. If you want to be at the top of the career ladder, you want to be the best of the best technical, you want to work in the best companies, maybe that is what you should be doing. But for me, I'm okay being where I am right now. As I've already said before, I'm paid competitively. I work with great people. I enjoy the work I do. I don't need to be spending so much time studying to become a better engineer because I'm able to do that at work. With the challenges that I face, I have enough time to actually get better at work without having to do anything on the side. And what's more important for me is coming home and doing my hobbies because they'll make me that much more energized to go into work. So for example, like I said, I like doing these YouTube videos. I like going to the gym. Sometimes I feel like people are asking me like, oh, you're not doing leak code, or you're not studying programming. Like how are you not doing that stuff? And guess what? I used to have YouTube channels dedicated to these sort of things, and I didn't like them. This is the longest I've gone with a YouTube channel before, and even standing at 90 subscribers, I'm the happiest I've been because I feel like the 90 subscribers have been based on something that I truly enjoy. And these are hobbies that I want to cultivate. And I encourage all of you, if you're watching and you don't have a hobby, find one and pursue it and get good at it. Again, maybe it's video games, maybe it's going to the gym, maybe it's cooking, maybe it's just spending time with family. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. There's a quote that I have here. Yeah, it's right here. It says, happiness is not found by doing what everyone else is doing. Happiness is found by doing what you want to do. Okay? So do what it is you want to do and don't worry about anything else. Don't worry about other people. And I just hope that these 5 points sort of give you perspective to think about how it is that maybe you can improve your life situation. Every single day that we're on this earth is a blessing, and every single day is an opportunity just for us to continue getting better and better and better. And I promise you, if you just really ground yourself and go to these things, you have the perspective, you have the self-affirmation, you have your clear and precise goals with the celebration of your wins, you don't compare yourself to others, and you have hobbies, your life will absolutely get better. So, taking everything I said, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. And if you're following any of these different paths, tell me about what your hobbies are. Do you have that sort of perspective already? Are you doing self-affirmation? Are you setting your clear and precise goals? Do you struggle with comparing yourself to others? You may have noticed I keep looking over here because I want to make sure I remember, all the points in the right order. And yeah, that's about it. So if you stumbled across this video and you like this, I talk a lot about sort of mindset and work-life balance and just work in general. And I enjoy making these videos and I'm having a lot of fun doing it. So if you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you all in the next one. Later.